I'm tired is sort of the tip of the iceberg when it comes to, fatigue and particularly sleep deprivation on anyone, but particularly the adolescent brain, which, adolescence is 13 to 26. So that's really all of our high school athletes and all of our college athletes. Their brains are still developing. And, I pulled some of the research before we were meeting just to make sure I had my facts right. And 2 weeks of getting 6 or less hours of sleep has about the same impact on our cognitive functioning as going 48 hours without sleeping.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I sort of vaguely remembered that and I wanted to make sure I got it right. And so that, 6 hours for a lot of our athletes, like they would probably think they're doing well getting 6 hours,
Yeah.
but particularly like the demands on their bodies and their brains are so high that sleep is incredibly important. And throughout my career of working with athletes and students, even if they weren't athletes, we see this idea that cramming or staying up late one time or even two times doesn't have kind of lasting impact, but it really does impact our ability to process information and even more importantly this time of year to learn information. So getting a good night's sleep is one of the best things you can do to be prepared for a test because your brain doesn't consolidate information into long-term memory, which is the kind of memory we can recall later, unless it gets good sleep. So um, they are tired and from a outside perspective, they really are tired. And it's this cumulative impact of weeks of not getting enough sleep or weeks of, you know, being completely booked during all the hours that they're awake. And so there's no rest time in their day. And so recharging does help, but I think we also can help our athletes learn better sleep maintenance habits of how do you prioritize getting rest. I was like, after my first semester in college, I remember I actually took early classes and people thought I was crazy, but it was because like if I got all my courses done, then I could go take a nap. And so I was someone who would take naps like almost every day because that was the only way I could get enough sleep. And that worked for me. I'm not saying that works for everyone and I had a good dorm location, but that's what I needed to do to just make sure I was getting rest. And so talking to athletes about, and just students, I mean, I think this stuff is pretty universal of how do you organize your day and your week so that you can get enough rest. We forget that even if I was a full-time student and working, and I devoted 8 to 10 hours a day to school and studying, that leaves 16 or 14 hours of the day to sleep and do everything else. And there is sort of a lot of wasted time um, that is in most people's schedules that if we can help them kind of get more efficient at planning and scheduling, usually there's a few hours here or there where you could increase your sleep or increase your rest or get a little bit of quality study time in that isn't at 10 to 1 a.m. or something like that. So, yes, they are tired.